Hello, everyone, and welcome. Good evening, everyone. Glad you all could join. So Jay was working with some really fun stuff on his channel. Hey, Jim. Hey, Denise. Welcome. Glad you could join today. So we're just going to get started tonight. I'm going to be working with the add-on to Yana's City Holiday. I've got let me switch screens here. You guys don't need to see me. I'm kind of a mess. I have got the Halloween City Holiday decorations is what I've got here. And we're going to be working with it. And then, of course, we're going to bring in the City Holiday die set and be watching that. I'm trying to get all my stuff in a row here. Caught up here. Okay. So we're going to be working with these things. And I have die cut some stuff out already. Hi, Angela. Good evening. Welcome. Glad you could join. So I thought it'd be fun to play with this. I haven't had a chance to play with it. So I've got all my materials die cut out. We're going to actually make a 5x7 card because I feel like Yana's house needs a 5x7 card just because it's so big. Hi, Christina. Welcome. Glad you could join. Hi, Robin. Welcome. Anyway, so I've got all my bits and pieces here. I actually brought die cut the house out in some black glittery cardstock. I thought that'd be very Halloween-y, and I thought we'd work with that. I'm bringing in a few extra things. In addition to her set, I have got the moon from Simon Hurley's space set that he has. I've got the moon. And then I brought in a couple of trees from the spring stitched tree. And it was something that we had, and I just brought in the tree. I searched on Spellbinders for a tree and was trying to find one that would be a decent scale for this. Hey, McHugh22, sorry, hi, Kay. Welcome. And Maria Taylor, welcome. Hey, Jay, glad you could jump in. Yeah, his bundle does have a moon, and that I did link it in the description box below. But I thought these trees would work, and we're just gonna get to creating with this. So I'll get these dies out of the way. We're also going to ink blend a background panel that I think is going to be fun. And I've made my own stencil for it. I took some packaging from Spellbinders. I used a landscape die, and we're going to use that for masking and creating our background. We're just going to lay this aside and get to assembling on our house. And we're just going to do one card tonight. Jay did a great job with his making several cards on his live for those of you that just popped over from there. Anyway, so I'm going to I'm going to kind of cheat here and look off the picture that is included with the set. And I've also got her sentiments for that as well. Did I die cut those out? I don't know if I did or not. Maybe I haven't done that yet. But we're going to assemble the house, and then we may have to actually bring in the glimmer or the press and press the sentiments. So I've taken some metallic gold or silver cardstock. It's actually kind of brushed silver, and that's what I've die cut out the windows with. And then I've got several different colors that we can use for the backs of our windows just to make them look more interesting. I've got purple, green, a yellow, and then I've got gray and black. And there are 6 windows, so we can just kind of figure out what we're going to do with it. And so I think we'll just start layering some of these up and just kind of decide where we're going to go with it. We've got some eyeballs that you're going to want to put on some black ones. So I think I'll go ahead and lay the black ones down. And I should have used the Spellbinders two-sided tape and die cut them out with that so I wouldn't have to glue these all up. But yes, Kay, I heard you say they're very fragile. I actually broke a better press. I can't remember if it was, oh gosh, I think it was the Senses set. The way they send them to me, they are taped on just a heavy, heavy piece of cardstock with some really strong tape. And when I went to pull one of them off, and it snapped it. Now I was able to use it because I could lay it down side by side. But I think the next time I worked with a really fine sentiment like that, I warned people that that can happen because so when I pulled these off, I pulled them off really carefully. And what it is they're making them so thin and dainty, which I really like, but it makes them hard to pull off if they're taped on. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, it would be nice if they're on one plate, but those are all separate. But yeah, I have kind of experienced that with the dies already, and I was not happy with myself, but you know, things happen. But anyway, so now I use caution when I'm pulling them off the taped things that they send them to me on. I think probably, I don't know if the packaging that they ship them in, I don't think the tape is as strong. So um, hopefully there's less of a chance of breaking them. But anyway, hey, Linda, welcome. Hey, Rhonda. You're glad I'm using the set. Your order arrives tomorrow. Awesome. ECR says she uses it, warms up the tape to loosen it a bit before pulling them off. That is a great idea. Yeah. So, yep. A lot of mine do come just in a bag because I don't get any packaging at all. But usually these, the better press, the press and foil, I always get those taped to just a really hard piece of. Let's see if I have any of it. Sometimes I keep it. I don't have any of it right now. I've definitely thrown it away. But like a real heavy, rough looking cardstock is what they come taped to. And yeah, you can have some little challenges with that. So anyway, but if you've got the Spellbinders double-sided adhesive sheets, you could I could have laid my foil on there, this silver brushed cardstock on there, and then I wouldn't have to do all of this fussy gluing. But I do a lot of fussy gluing, so yeah. Yes, you pressed a bunch of those last night, and they pressed lovely. You haven't glimmered them yet? I usually like to glimmer first before I get my dies all dirty with the press. I use the Better Press ink, and it typically does stain them. So usually I try to glimmer first and then press second, just so that I can keep the dies really clean for when I foil. But it doesn't matter. You can use some alcohol to clean them off. Sometimes vinegar will take it off. I have some stamp cleaner that I picked up, but it doesn't take it off as well as I think the vinegar or the oil or the alcohol does. So anyway, so I'm just getting some different colors just to kind of make our house look a little bit more interesting, and for our windows, and to so that I can put different colored things in these windows. And hopefully I don't need to just poke any in there. I might not need to get them all laid down. Might have to do some tucking. Let's see what I'm looking to see what I would need. Looks like the skeleton you can just lay right over it. Well, it looks like they've kind of got everything laid over it in this picture. And then your eyes you can just set in there. I was thinking maybe the hand might, but it might be better to like lay the hand down and then I need 6 windows, and then put the frame over it. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I don't know. We might want to do that and just put it on the inside. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll put it on the gray. And this is just some Peridot cardstock that I've die cut the hand out. And I've got some hodgepodge of cardstock here, some scraps, just used whatever was in my bin. This is, some of it's Spellbinders, some of it is not. But anyway, doesn't matter. Let's see. Jim said, I lost the upper part of the cat bed. Yana's cat accessory kit flew off the backing and is lost in your rug. Do I need to die cut some out and send them to you? I have done that before for people that didn't get a piece or something. So if you can't get it, let me know, and Oh yeah. Kay says, get your magnet. Do you have one of those magnets? Let me show you what I've got. Maybe you've probably seen them before, but my sister made me get, well, actually, she bought this for me. She kept saying, you need one, you need one. And this is just a magnet that you can just kind of run around the floor. And I've lost several. This one actually has a light on it, but I need to get a new battery for it. But you can just kind of run this along your floor and just kind of pick it up. And I've done that several times, and like underneath my desk and just in areas I can't reach, just, and it can extend a long way. But this is a really, really cool tool to have, and it's got a real strong magnet on it, and it will pick up your dies. So if you don't have one of those, Jim, I would suggest picking that up because it is helpful in those situations. But yeah, if you need me to die cut some of those out and send them to you, let me know. All right, so, whoops, I just laid that on that one, and I needed to, I'm talking and not paying attention to what I'm doing. I needed to lay it on the one I've got the green hand on. So I'm gonna do a little surgery here. May have to die cut out another one. There we go. I'm busy talking and not paying attention. All right, so we'll get some glue on here and get this laid down on the hand. So I'm pleased to say that it is not raining here at the moment. I don't know if you guys have watched any news. I don't really watch very much news just because I don't like to. But I'm telling you what, we've been in the news for the last week. Indiana has, with all of the flooding. And I mean, it has been bad. Now, we are fortunate at our house that we are in good shape, but there are many in the state that are not as fortunate. And there's been some loss of lives and everything from the severe flooding that we've had. And we still have rain in the forecast. But let's see, you could also use your glass mat. Yes, you could. Jim says, I've tried it. It's a rope rug and probably in between the rings. Oh no, I'd probably be getting down on my hands and knees, crawling around trying to find it. But yeah, but if I can die cut out some of those and send them to you, just let me know. All right, so we're just going to start getting our windows laid down on here, and then we can start decorating them up. There's lots of fun pieces that go with this. Now, I don't know how well. I have lost the little rubber feet that are on the bottom of this glass mat, and it's just moving constantly on me, and it's driving me nuts. I'm gonna have to get some more and get them replaced, is what I'm gonna need to do. So I definitely need to do that. Anyway, so we're just gonna start laying our windows down on here, and then we'll get all of our little bits and pieces going. I need to figure out kind of a color scheme. I didn't really plan this out. So yeah, the hand is super fun. And I just got it kind of sticking up like on the inside of the window. Now, I don't know, like I said, this is kind of, it's almost like a felt glitter panel. I just thought it was kind of unique and it'd be fun to use, but I'm not sure how well everything's going to stick. So let's see, I'm trying to figure out how we want to position our colors and do it maybe like this. And I'm kind of looking at the picture that's on the packaging just to kind of give me some ideas, but I think that looks kind of fun just with a variation of color. So we'll get those laid down there. You used foam tape to replace this temporarily. You know, I thought about that as I was getting ready to go live. I thought I ought to just put some of these on there just to kind of keep it from moving around because it's driving me nuts. So I might just do that just so it's not sliding around on me while I'm trying to sit here and craft with y'all. And just do that real quick. Just if I can keep it from moving, that'll be great. I probably have some of these because I feel like I've picked them up for, that might be enough because I can't seem to lift it on this side. But I purchased some of those for our kitchen cabinets because we were redoing those and I was redoing the foam thing. So I probably have some in my stash. I need to just go digging around and do that. But yeah, I'm not real happy how it's been sliding around on me. And I noticed it's probably been doing it for a couple of weeks, but just a little annoyance. Shelf liner for the glass mat. That is another great idea. I might even have some of that, Jim. Great ideas. So we'll just get these windows laid down. I think I die cut out a purple door, a gray door, and a silver door because I wasn't sure what I wanted. I think I'm going to go with the purple because I really like the color on here. And we'll get this laid down on here. I've got kind of a stiff neck. We did something a little bit crazy yesterday. Somebody had reached out to my husband that needed just a house in town that doesn't take care of their lawn. And, you know, you have ordinance and stuff and you have to take care of it. And the city had been on them to take care of it. And they'd reached out to my husband to do it. And I mean, it was just a total mess. And we gave in and I went and helped him do it. And we cleaned up this man's yard. And my husband has very much sheltered me from yard work our entire marriage. And so it was a lot of work. And I'm I'm somebody who likes hard work. In fact, he said the reason why he said he would do it was because I said I would help him, and he said I'm a workhorse, which I am. But I've never been one to run the equipment. You know, I can do, you know, saws and drills and all that stuff and everything, but I've never, because my husband likes mowing so much, he's never asked me to mow or weed eat or anything like that. Well, yesterday I got to run the weed eater for a long time in this yard. And so my shoulder's a little bit sore. And believe it or not, my forearm, just from, you know, crunching that thing and just swinging it back and forth for so long. I feel like I need another frame on there because I can see a little bit of green. I don't know if I have any more of that cardstock. Hopefully I saved some of it. But um, anyway, so I'm feeling a little bit of pull from doing that yesterday. But the guy was very thankful and he showed up here today. He wasn't at home when we did it and was thankful. And his son was there. His son was actually helping work on a tree and get it cut down and everything. So, but I felt like we were kind of helping our city out by doing that. So I didn't feel bad about that. Anyhow, so I have got a purple door, which I thought could be fun. I just think that adds some fun color to it. Trying to see if I've missed anything in the chat. Looks like I'm up to speed. Maybe I'm going to do a silver frame around that purple door. We'll get it laid down and then we'll inset the purple. But anyway, so my neck and my shoulder and my forearm's a little bit sore, but we got it done. We made a lot of people swinging by and was like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, well, you know, just trying to help out. And he had asked my husband, because my husband does a lot of yards around town, and so he had asked my husband if he would come in and help. And so, and it was a big task, but we made a dent in it. Certainly not perfect, but far better than what it was. So there we go. All right, so we got our door down. Let me see. The storms we had on Tuesday here in Illinois hit hard. I've been filling yard bags every day with branches all week. Well, the window frame looks distressed. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, they have been filling sandbags in our area. I mean, bad. A lot of home loss. Just bad, bad, bad. The city that my youngest daughter lives in, they've had devastation there. And her brother and sister-in-law and nephew had to come and stay with them because they got evacuated out of their home. And there's just been a lot of. And then another city that's just south of there, just, in fact, a lot. I think I've heard there's been 5 lives lost so far with it. And then there's just a ton of people without homes and stuff. So it's really, really bad here in Indiana right now. So I'm hoping that this rain will stop and people can get back into their homes and then they can begin, I don't know, the people that have a chance to repair. But yeah, it's terrible. So we don't normally have that, but we do have a lot of rivers around. So So here we've just got some fun windows, and I'm just going to start adding some stuff to it, and we'll just see what we come up with. So you can see I've got the purple door, but I had die cut it out in silver, and I did it in gray too because I wasn't sure what color, and still we could change it if we don't like it. But and then we've got lots of ghost, and the ghost, you have these little circles that you would just pop behind their eyes, and so we'll get that laid down on there. And I don't know if it's the way I've positioned myself at the desk, but my neck did not start hurting like this until I got going. I think I'm going to change my seat. Hold on a minute. I have got a stool. I am a tall gal, and I have a long back, and sometimes you have to really adjust things for. I had to. I have a stand-up desk, which a lot of times I'll stand up with, but I also had to raise like the credenza over here on the other side just because I'm taller and it doesn't work for my body. So sometimes I have to just kind of rearrange and figure out what to do to make it more comfortable. So I've got 3 different types of ghost here, and I need to get their faces on them and decide which ones we want to use. We also have pumpkins, and we've got a skeleton. I think we have some, we've got the cat. Did I have bats? I think I have a bat too. So there's lots of fun pieces with this set. And if you've got the original set, it's, you know, it's fun to pick up these extra ones. And for those, I forget who just said they have it coming. Be advised there's more coming to go with it because I've got it already. So it's one of those things that there's opportunity to buy coordinating pieces with. So fun, fun, fun. Newfound muscles, weed whacking is worse. Yes, yeah, it is. I didn't realize, I said I had a appreciation for my husband because he does that almost every day, but not to, I mean, not like the extent of this yard. Of course, he does multiple yards, but this yard was, it was a project. We've also got a skeleton, and I'm not even sure my assembly of that. Where's my little picture? What did I do with my picture? I was cheating and then I don't know. I lost my packaging. It's on the floor. That's where everything goes when you're on a live. Along with some of my bones were on the ground. So, okay, so he just has arm bones is what he's got. He's got arm bones. And so we also need one of these black circles for his face. So we'll just get all of our little bits and pieces together. So there we go. Let's see. Hi. M3T4 Gray 10. Hi there. Welcome. Glad you could join. You lost your femur looking for the packaging. I did. I did. I lost it. It went astray. Luckily, I found it. I have learned to check the floor right off the bat because that's where it normally goes. It kind of looks like from the packaging that maybe the bigger piece goes down and the smaller piece goes up. I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Get it assembled. Does it go on top or bottom? I can't tell. Maybe on top. I think it would look better on top. We'll do it that way. I don't know my bones very well, I guess. I don't know how they attach to the shoulders. Like that. There we go. And then we can kind of move them in, I think, to make them fit in the window a little bit better. That might work. I think I might put him on the green. He'll show up really well on there. We've got these eyeballs that I want to put in these black windows. So we're going to save that. We've also got some cobwebs. There's 3 different types. You've got a full spider web, and then you've got a half one, which I think the half one would look really nice in this window here. You could just kind of fit it up in there like that. And then you've got one that you could position in one of your windows like that. So you could do it like that. That's kind of fun. So we might have to do that. All right. And then we've got a pumpkin. I did bring in the cat from the original set because I feel like you got to have a cat for Halloween. We got our pumpkin. We'll go ahead and get it assembled. And it just has, we've got, evidently I die cut 2 out. Not sure what I was doing with them. You like the design? Skeleton holding a pumpkin. Ooh, we've got an extra pumpkin, Jim. We could definitely do that. Wonder if I need to move his arms in a little bit more before he gets too dry, maybe. Let's get one laid down on here and see if we can position it. That's a fun idea. I always enjoy audience participation, so feel free to throw your suggestions out there. And then we do have the little, well, you could die cut them out in brown, but, oh, I guess I didn't. No, I was looking at an eyeball. I guess I was thinking that we had a stem for it. Do we have a stem? Did I not use it? I'm not seeing one. Yeah, I don't think there is. I guess you could just color it in, but I'm okay with black. This is Halloween. It'll be just fine. So we can position this. That's a big pumpkin for that skeleton to be holding, but let's see if we can see how I want to get it positioned. Like that. That's kind of fun. I like it. All right. We'll go ahead and get our other pumpkin assembled. And I've got a fan running in the other room, so I'm not sure if you guys can hear that or not. I know I probably mentioned that before, and I don't think you usually do, but it is a little bit steamy. It's been very humid here, you know, with the heat and then all of the rain and the standing water and all that. So it's been kind of steamy. But thankfully, we actually had some sunshine today. We've had some rain as well, and I think there's more coming, but just glad for the relief. Yeah, I woke up like at 4 a.m. in the morning with just booming. It was just booming, booming, booming. So, all right. So let's get these figured out. I think I am going to put him right there. I was thinking about, yeah, that'll work, Jim, because I was going to put one of the pumpkins in this window, but I can put my spider web in one. So do I want him here or here? I think I want him here. Yep. We'll get him laid down on there with this pumpkin. And then we can put this spider web in here and it'll show up nicely on that yellow background. So we'll do that. Get it laid down. I need to clean off this tip. I don't know if you guys have this problem, but my tip gets dirty all the time and I have to clean it off or else it just makes a gunked up mess. So we'll lay that down on there. And then we've got these eyeballs and I've got to figure out how we're going to get them laid down on here. These things are tiny. Can you see them? They are just teeny tiny. And I'm trying not to lose them. And so somehow we want to position these to where they look like something is looking out of the dark. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I just dropped some of my pumpkin mouth there. And then we'll just get a little bit of glue on there. And then, let's see. This would be the right angle for that, I think. And so then we've got, it's not really even in the window, but I think it looks kind of creepy. Followed you was thinking you can help me with your art. Well, nice. I don't know what kind of art you do, but I hope that it would be some kind of help. It's sold out? Aw, you're kidding me. This set is sold out already? Oh, you followed me on Instagram too. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me look. I was just there. Let me see here. Give me a minute. Sorry, I'm just typing real quick. Sweet Halloween. Sorry, I'm just looking real quick and it's taking its time loading. Huh. Let me look here. Okay, that is the sentiments. Where is... Well, hopefully they'll get it back in. And let's see. I'm just rolling around here looking. Well, that's a shame. I hate it that it's sold out, but just kind of stay tuned and maybe it'll come back in. The eyes look spooky. Thank you. I was trying to get them now. There is another set of eyes too. And I actually did a set in orange and then a set in green, but I think I'm going to use both of the orange ones because I did the green. I'm only seeing one of the green ones laying here of the different shape, and I want to do the two different shapes. So we'll just go ahead and add this other shape on here, and we'll get it laid down on there. Hopefully I can maybe center these a little bit better than I did the other ones. These kind of put me in the mind of cat eyes. We'll get this one. So yeah, this is a fun set. We're going to have fun with the background panel. So I'm trying to get this assembled so that we can put together a background panel and have some fun with it. So there's that. And then I had this. I want to get it laid down up in here. I think I need a ghost. Let's get this in here. We'll lay a couple ghosts down on there, I think, and see what we can come up with. But I always feel like this set requires a 5x7. I mean, it will fit. I'll hold it up here in a minute and show you. But if you want any kind of background or anything with it, you need a little bit more space for it. My fingers are getting glue on them, so I'm gluing up everything right now. Okay, whoops, we gotta get our pieces parts on here. So this ghost is gonna hang out. Which one would look better? I kind of like this one up there. Let's get it glued down. And we'll get it positioned in here. I think that's kind of fun. And then this one, we're gonna put our cat down here on our doorstep. I was thinking about having a pumpkin by it too. So we'll get our cat laid down. And I just did a little gray cat because I thought that would show up on our purple door. And then we can have a pumpkin sitting by our door. Get that laid down on there. And then I want to add this guy here. Whoops. Kind of add him. And then I want this guy to kind of be hanging off the edge of our house. We're going to have space since we're making the 5x7 card. So we'll do that. I think that's fun. Now we have, this would be like the roof to the house. Where's my die at? I need to take a peek. Make sure I put it on there in the right direction. I think it goes this way like this. Or does it go like this? It goes like this. So that would be our, I was thinking this could be like an industrial type building since, put some, what would foam do if I put some foam on here? I was thinking about getting it to stick a little bit easier. So we'll just put some foam on here and just raise our roof a little bit. We're going to raise the roof. I went my cap to my glue bottle, flying across the room. And then this will just adhere easier since we've got that glitter on there. There's that. And then it's going to stick to the gloss mat. And then this would be like I think this is like the step up to the house that you would add it. I'm going to wait on that because we're going to get it laid down on our card base. So we've got these trees that I'm thinking we might use in the background, and I realize they're probably not large enough for scale unless they might not be too bad because this could be a 2-story. But I thought we could also just kind of tuck them behind and kind of have them kind of spooky like behind like that and use that. So that's kind of what I had in mind. And then we've got a bat that we're going to want to bring in. And then we have our moon. But let's move on to our panel. So I'm going to let's get this stuff out of our way. And just kind of slide this aside and we'll get to working on our panel. So I have got this is watercolor cardstock. And I'm just going to do some ink blending on it. And so our ink blending, I've got a variety of colors here that I wanted to work with. And I mentioned that I kind of made my own little stencil. And I got to find it here. Where did it go? Okay, here we go. What I did was I just took one of my Dear Santa packaging things and I thought I would lay it down on here and create like a grassy area, and then we'll cover it back up with this, and then we can do our scene. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to get this lined up on here, sort of like that, and then we'll line this up. I'm going to bring in these magnets and just kind of hold it down, and then I'm just going to bring in my green blending brush, and I'm going to hold it down, and I didn't have the stencil that I wanted for this, so I thought I'll just create my own. So that's what I'm going to do, and we're just going to ink blend this panel up and just add some color to it, and I'm going to try and make it as kind of spooky looking. And so this is going to be like our grassy area. Just bring that in, and I think that's enough greeny yellow. And then I'm going to bring in a darker green and kind of add to it and try to add some darker color to it. And just kind of have some different variation of color. There we go. Try and spooky it up a little bit. And then I thought we would also bring in our black, and we'll bring in our black soot and kind of add even a little bit more darker to it, and just kind of add a little bit of that to it. Just kind of creep it out a little bit. Okay. And we'll come back in. Hopefully, won't get our green brush too dirty. And just add a little bit more on top of that. Okay, I'm going to call that's going to be our grass. I'm going to move this and clean this up a little bit. We're going to use this for our mask. Try and get that cleaned off. I got glue and everything on there. I got some fingerprints on that, but we'll try and lay this down to just kind of cover that up a little bit. We'll use our magnets to hold it down. I've got one more. Whoops. Must have had something attached to it. It went flying. And then for our background, we're going to use some different blues, and then we're going to bring in our black soot again. So we're just going to kind of work on that and kind of create. Kind of got those in my way. I'll just have to kind of work around them. Oh, I should have started off the edge of the card base, but it'll be okay because we're going to darken it up anyway. So I'm just going to lay some color all the way down on here. And we're going to leave it a little bit white because we're going to have the moon up there. And this is just broken china. I just grabbed some blues that I have, and we're just going to try and get it blended up here. Go real light over that. I'm going to go really light over that. There we go. And then let's just grab some of our darker ink. Let's see, is anybody saying anything in the chat? Just trying to catch up. Doesn't look like it. Still don't know how you missed. Oh, okay, hang on. Blocked, what? I have a, oh, did somebody get it blocked? I had a spam bot. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gotcha. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on with the chat, but Jim, thanks for helping me out there. I was busy focusing on what I was doing, so I appreciate you guys helping me out. I generally haven't had any issues, so I appreciate assistance. I guess I haven't reached the scale that I have too many problems, so, and I'm hoping that I don't, because I don't like stuff like that, so, but thank you. All right, so we're just darkening that up. I'm gonna get around there a little bit. And then I think we're gonna bring in a little bit of black as well and add a little bit more darkness to it. See if we get these things stacked up and out of the way. Oh, I think Jim made that if you are, let me see. I sent my, I'm waiting for my order, so cute. Oh, I think Jim made that if you aren't a mod and post a link, it doesn't go through. Oh, yeah, I thought I had it set up to where you couldn't link stuff, but I'm not sure. I may have to check that, but it should be set up that way because you can get some links that you don't want for sure. And I thought it was set that way because I thought that people weren't able to link in there. So we'll have to look at that, but I appreciate you guys helping me out. So the house is going to cover up a lot of this, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of fill some black in like that. And I don't know, hopefully that's not too white. We've got our, where is our moon? Here's our moon. I don't know if that's too big of an area for the glow of the moon or not. No, I think that'll work. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get this laid down on here. And what else was I thinking? Oh, I was thinking I wanted to do some splattering on it. And as much as I hate to do it, I'm going to do it on, let's get our stuff out of the way. I'm going to do it on here because I want to keep this laid down on my grass and splatter on my sky. So I have got the Raven splatter here. And if you guys have heard me talk about it, I have made a mess with this stuff. So let me get, I got some scrap cardstock laying around here somewhere, or paper. Thought I had some copy paper that I could grab. I'm just gonna grab some of this. Do you guys ever use these My Sweet Petunia papers? I don't think I ever do. Do I have more than one here? I'm just gonna kind of shield my desk a little bit with these and try to contain the splatter. Because I want to keep the grass kind of covered. I don't think I want these speckles in here. And I am a messy. Yeah, Jay, I splattered all over my glass mat, all over my laptop, everything. I'm trying to learn how to control it, but it is not easy to do. I have found that my splatters, if I splatter down here, they go way up here. I don't know why, but that's how it works for me. So I'm just going to try and get some of the splatters on here. Oh, and see, I can hardly get, there we go. Now we're getting it. I think I might be improving. was trying to think, I have some white splatter too we could do. It's probably going to take a minute for this to dry as well. We've got some bigger splatters too. I don't know if I can touch it with my paper towel and let it pick a little bit of it up. Yeah, I think we can. That's kind of fun. Now I also have this white splatter. I wonder how that would look on there. Might give some little star-like type things. So let's see what we got. Oh, I hope it's not getting dried up. I haven't had it very long. I think I can bring in a watery pen and add a little. Yeah, let's do this. See if we can get some water to it. Oh, it's got blue in it already. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get much white out of it or not. Oh, yeah, we are. Oh, I like that. That looks good. Come on. There we go. All right. That's probably enough. I do have some gold splatter as well. Would that be getting too carried away? Barb Miller says that looks good. Splatters look like birds. Oh, some of them do, don't they? The black ones, they sure do. That's fun. Okay, so get this lid on there. I'm not gonna, I thought putting this back on there would help it stay nice, but it's not. I think it's preventing me from getting the lid on there real tight, so we'll do something else with that. I think we're gonna leave that for the splatter. I need to clean my hands because I've got white splatter all over them. And I think we're okay. That doesn't look too bad. Look at all that white I got on there. Okay, so there's that. Now, let's take a peek and see how that looks. I think it did all right. It almost looks like the earth or something. All right, let's get all of this cleaned up and give us an area to work and see what we can come up with. Trying to remember everything I had in mind. This is a mess. Ooh. We could have always, because I'm using oxides, we could always splatter it with water as well. But since I had the splattering things, I think we could just go with that. See if I can get my hands cleaned up a little bit before I start messing with this card. I have a card base here somewhere. Okay, so this is our background. I think it's kind of fun. Yeah, it looks like Earth, doesn't it? Yeah, super fun. So I didn't assemble our moon, and we can do that now. And like I said, I just went shopping in my stash for these extra bits and pieces. And the moon was one thing that I was looking for. And luckily I had that. So I encourage you to shop around. I did spend some time reorganizing some of my dies and adding some additional tabs so that I could easily identify what I had. And so kind of going through there like that helped me to see some things that I haven't seen in a while. And so I'd encourage you to do that because we forget what we have. At least I do for sure. Anyway, so see how big this is? And this is a 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 panel because I wanted to put a white frame around it. So you still don't have a lot of a lot of room for these types of things that you want to add to it. So that's why I stepped it up to that. And I still feel like, we really don't have a lot of room for these extra little details that you want to kind of add to your scene or whatever. And so, these would even be hanging off because we're going to put it on we're going to layer it on black like this. And so we would need to at least tuck them in a little bit further. And so I think it's fun. I think it's a fun background and I just need to figure out how I'm going to position them. So just get an idea. All right, let me get this out of the way. And do we want to bring this down a little bit to the bottom, I think? And we can cut those trees apart if we want. Let's go ahead and get our moon laid down. We've got the general area where that goes. And we'll get it laid down. And then kind of position our house. Like that. I kind of want some of that. That's not bad like that because it's hanging off a little bit, but it won't be so bad that. So let me lift this up, and obviously we've got, the trunk of the tree that's going to be underneath the house, but no one will know. They'll just think we've got a tree in our backyard. So we'll get it laid down on there. So this is fun. I mean, this particular tree here is the base to a stitched die is what I'm using here. And so I just, like I said, if you can't remember what you have, and this is my situation, I go on to Spellbinders and just search for whatever it is I'm looking for. And I put in tree, and then I looked and I thought, I have that. And so then I just went digging for it. So I think that's a good way if you don't have your stuff categorized very well, which I apparently do not because I can't remember what I have. And so it's a good way to do it. I think we could probably on this one, and we could have done it on the other one as well. I think we can kind of cut this here, and then we can position, we can position them differently to where we can have them in different spots. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this because get this the right way and see if we can get some additional coverage out of our tree. I still think it's got to be there, maybe like that, and then we can have our tree. You love all the images in the windows, so spooky. Thanks, Margot. Can the townhouse go landscape for future projects? The only thing about that is there are indentations where the windows go, and so you would have to cover that up. Now, there is a die set that has a different shape of window that I think covers up the indentation. So you might be able to do that and work with it that way. And there is some new product coming that is going to offer some diversity to this. I'll just say that much. But yeah, you've got those indentations in the house, the deboss detail that you would have to work on kind of covering up for that. So that would be something to keep in mind if you wanted to do that. I think I'm going to do it like this. And then we'll just pick this up. I think, I'm going to glue this flat because some of these things are going to be mailed. And so I'm just going to get it glued down flat, and we're not going to pop it up. And I'm going to lean over this because I'm going to try and get this positioned how I want it. I think it's kind of spooky and creepy. I like the idea of it and bringing in these dies and adding some more creep to it. Now I don't have a sentiment ready for it. I do have a bat, and we can add our bat to it. I think that would be fun up there. And I think I'll bring in the press plate and we'll try to work with the sentiments and figure that out. So that's pretty much our scene. You're talking about like this, right? If we would turn it this way. Yeah, that's what I mean. The deboss detail. Let me just show you real quick. So you've got this. So you have these windows on there. You could turn it like that. I mean, they'd be kind of an interesting window. Now there is another window um, that, let me get that and see what that would look like. This is a set that gives you, you know, awnings that go over these. And it also gives you the opportunity to create a window that is not arched, but is square. But I don't think, you know, I don't really think that you could. However, if you had and your door's going to be in the wrong direction too, but you could turn it maybe that way and make this be a bigger door. You could, if you had some like rectangle dies that were just square, you could probably cover those up. These all have like a windowsill on them. So, but if you had, I'm trying to think what I've got. If you had some of those, I mean, you could make this a bigger door and then make these all windows and do it that way. But it really is designed to go this way just because of the windowsills and the detail that is in there. But you could certainly take a rectangle die and make your own house out of it and, you know, use other rectangle dies and do that. But it's just not the way that it actually is set up to work. But yeah, that's, I mean, you know, get creative with it and do your own thing. Certainly you could do that. So here is our panel that we're going to lay this on. So I'm just going to get some glue on the back of this and we'll frame this up. And then we'll get it laid on our card base. And then I'll bring in I'll just bring in the press. That way we don't have to wait to heat up the foil. I've got a show that my husband and I normally watch after we get done live here. So I'm not going to heat up the glimmer and do that, but we can bring in the press plate and we can press the sentiment and go from there. So there it is with our little black backer. And then I've got a 5x7 card base that we can lay this down on. It's a good size card. I historically have just been kind of an A2 card maker, but I've been doing more and more 5x7s on my channel here and there. And so it's kind of fun, you know, it gives you a little bit more landscape. You can have a little bit more creativity and, you know, add some different things to it. I think it's super fun. So there's that. Okay. And then you could always put this, oops, that's not good. What's going on here? Yep. Totally crooked. Let's get that lined up on there better. There we go. That's what all the extra glue was for, movability. But we could definitely bring this and put this on the inside of our card. And I think we'll do that because if not, it'll wind up getting pitched. So we'll just add it to the inside of our card, trying to get just a little bit of glue on there, not make a big mess. Look at my hands, they're just covered in paint splatter. So there we go. Let me grab my press plate. Oops, dropping stuff. Now, I had a piece of, I do like to use the watercolor paper to press with because it presses better. It's kind of like the cotton. I didn't use the steps on that. I don't think we need it. And then we've got to grab our sentiments. And I don't even know what they say. Let's see. We've got Happy Halloween, trick or treat, and something neat. Spooky wishes to your street. That's kind of fun. I'm not sure where we would position it. Have a fabulous Halloween and wishing you a fantastic Halloween. Anyway, I'm losing pieces parts. Hold on. I have a feeling that was a die that went with, yeah. It's one of the dies to die cut out with cinnamon. Let's just go ahead and, since we don't know what we're going to do, we'll just press them all. And I am standing up at this point, so probably don't need to have we can remove myself from the screen. Don't need that. And let's just lay all of these down on here. And this is what she was talking about. These are so incredibly fine that you do need to be careful when you're pulling them off that tape because If not, you might have a boo-boo like I did. So I'm glad to know I'm not the only one that put a little bit too much pressure on there trying to pull them off. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my Better Press black ink and we'll just stamp them up. Doesn't matter if they're crooked or whatever because we're going to die cut them out. And I'm just going to bring in the Better Press black and make a mess. I like to press and turn with this ink and just, I don't know, it just works better if you press and turn, and you're going to get it all over your platen there. And that's why I have got acetate on there so that I can clean it off and I can change it out and keep my platen clean. And I have that because I have already replaced it once and I don't want to do it again. So that's what I have. And hopefully I'm getting these inked up. Now these are not, these are small enough that the magnetic hold is not good enough to press them twice. So you want to get them really good and inked up because it's going to be one and done because these babies are sliding all over the place. See, like that, just sliding. They're not going to stay in place. I'm going to clean this off a little bit. Probably not enough, but hopefully it won't make a mess. So then we'll just get, and I've got plenty of room up top for some tape. And I've got the smooth side here, the rough side down, so it's going to press on the smooth side. And we'll just put a little bit of tape on there. And we're going to get this laid down. Just letting it connect. Okay. And then we'll bring in our Platinum 6. This is going to hurt my arm. We've got to take our plates out. I flattened my plate today. I don't know if you guys have ever tried this. I put my Cricut heat press on it and I took the bow right out of it. It did get very hot and it probably isn't recommended, but it did take the bow out of that plate. So I'm just going to gently run this through here. And hopefully we'll get a good press on at least one of them. We are going to need the Platen 6 because we're going to die cut these out. Not bad. Now my tape was pretty close, but those turned out pretty nice. So let's get this out of the way. And we will reuse this tape. Try and pull it off carefully since it's awfully close to my sentiment. There we go. And then we'll get our dies in here. And we'll die cut these out. So I think this is this one. And I always have a heck of a time getting these lined up. Seems like I try hard and fail miserably. I think that looks pretty good. So we'll lay that on there. And I used to never tape them down. Now I tape everything down. Seems like everything's moving on me. Okay. And then this is our Happy Halloween. And I love when they have these that cut out the middle of that and they get in there nice and tight. It makes for a really neat looking sentiment. There we go. And I'm not trying to ignore the chat. I need to catch up with you. Can you please see my email? I'm not looking at emails right now while I'm going live, so I have to follow up with that later. Okay. So wishing you a fantastic Halloween. And woo, we got that one too close. Let's see. Yeah, I got them too close together. Didn't realize there was a big long swishy on there. We have got one that we can use. I'm not going to use that fabulous anyway, so we'll get these die cut out. We're not going to worry about that last one because it's going to cut it off. It might even mess up this one, but we're okay. We've got two that we can use. So I'll bring that in. A lot of times when I'm working with these sets, I will stamp and die cut out all of the sentiments and then I don't use them all. And so then I just store them. I recently got a new container that I could store my sentiments in, and I've got them by category. So I can just pull the drawer out with like happy birthday, and then I've got all my happy birthday sentiments together. So that is real handy. I just did that this past weekend, and I'm really happy about it. My sister came and got a card that she liked, and she said, this would be a great birthday card, but it doesn't have a birthday sentiment in it. And I said, looky here. And I pulled the little drawer out and I said, see this? And then we just pulled out a birthday sentiment and stuck it on there, and she was good to go. So that was super fun. I was glad I did that. And I think she was impressed. Anyway, trying to get more organized. Okay, so we're going to get our sentiment laid down on here. I like the Happy Halloween just because it's not going to take up a lot of real estate on this card, and we've got a lot going on with it. So I kind of like it here. And then I could put in, I could put this one on the inside, and I think it goes nicely with it. Trick or treat and something neat, spooky wishes on your street. So I think that's what we'll do. I think we will put this one kind of on here like this, and that way we're not covering up our scene or anything. You could also, if we had not chosen to put the spider web and the ghost here, you can actually stamp your sentiment right inside your window. It is designed to do that. So you could press it on a window and then lay it down in there, or choose to stamp something in there. So that's nice. I think for this I will go ahead and bring in something to pop it up. And it's a really thin one, and I don't know if this is thin enough for it or not. Will that work? Could partially work. All right, we'll lay a little bit of that down on there. And actually, that's not the side I even really need. Actually, we can add it to all of it, I think. I don't know, there's such a tiny, thin little area there. Just cut it down. Yeah, we can do that. All right. Have scissors, can cut. So we'll just make these teeny tiny foam strips, and we'll just get it all popped up. I just wanted to, it's just one layer, so I wanted to add some stability to it. So that's why I'm putting the foam on there, just to make it a little bit more sturdy and pop it up, because we're kind of sandwiching it in between our windows. And I think that lays nicer like that. So there we go. And then we're going to add this to the inside. I think it's a perfect sentiment for this card. And here we go. And then we're going to lay that down on there. So there we go. So I'm going to pull my chair up. Let's see what's going on with the chat here. Okay. Hey there. Okay, I see what you're saying. That's the bot, you think. Kay said she microwave bowed plates and put them under heavy books. That is a great idea. What do we got going on here? Okay. All right. So that'll finish off our card. And I think it turned out pretty nice. We've got a good scene card. I thought the ink blending was kind of fun. It made it extra creepy. I think bringing the moon in from the Simon Hurley set, and then the trees, even though they didn't, fit exactly well, it did kind of add some extra dimension to the card. I think it was pretty interesting. And so Barb Miller is asking how long you do microwave. So you might mention how long it took you to do that. And Rhonda says, it's relaxing to watch you create. Thank you for sharing your talents. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you can find some interest in that. So Lori says the background inking with the moon looks great. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Barb says it's adorable. So that'll pretty much finish off our card. And I think I took care of the bot situation. Kay says it depends on the size of the plate. She starts with 2 minutes and I suppose test it along the way. what I did was I have the big Cricut, and like I said, I don't know if it's recommended or whatever. And I have the Cricut mat that you lay it on, and I laid the silicone thing, or not the silicone, it's like I have some type of a protective barrier, and I have multiple sheets of it from just different iron-on things that I do. I laid one underneath it, put my plate on it, laid a couple more on top of it, and then put the Cricut thing on it. And I had that thing on like 300 and some degrees and let it sit on there, and it flattened it out. It was this plate. It's not perfect, but I mean this thing was bowed. But I did. I took it and laid, and I also press Teflon. Yes, Margot, thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. But I mean, I put all my weight on that and just pressed down on it, and it seemed to work. But you definitely have to monitor it. I'm sure it's not recommended, but when you do so much crafting and you're trying to make the most out of your supplies, you get creative. I did boil mine one time. I think it was Jennifer McGuire that suggested you put them in a pan of hot water and then bring another pan of hot water and set it on top of it and kind of smash it in there. I've tried that before. I had more success with this thing that I tried today, but like I said, I'm not recommending it. It's just something I tried and I had success with it. But so so thank you. Well, I'm going to end here so that I can go watch that movie. Oh, Kay says I'm sure they don't recommend microwaving, but it works. I think Gina Kay says she puts hers in the dishwasher. I don't know if the heat of the dishwasher. I don't know if she does that just to remove the die cut pieces that get on there, because you get all these little, this is not a good example of it, the base plate, you get all these little pieces here. And maybe the dishwasher might kind of take those off and stuff. But anyway, yeah. So, all right. Well, everybody, thanks for joining and have a great evening. I really appreciate you guys spending time with me, and I'm just amazed that you guys keep showing up. So thank you very much. I appreciate it, and have a great week ahead. And we're going to go live tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Daria and we're going to be crafting with some fall crafts. So hope to see you then. Take care. Bye. Oh, thanks, Jim. Jim says thumbs up and share. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.